Let's take it to Bangladesh now. The Nobel Peace Prize winner Muhammad Yunus is going to return there, we understand, on Thursday to become the leader of the nation's interim government. He's a long-time political foe of the ousted Prime Minister. And actually, in the last few minutes or so, we've just got these pictures in from Charles de Gaulle. This is the main airport in Paris. He has been there, we understand, having a minor medical procedure, but he's there, obviously, to fly back to Bangladesh. He was announced as leader following talks between the president and student leaders who played a key role in weeks of protest that toppled Sheikh Hasina. Mr Yunus is 84. He's faced several legal cases this year, which he said were politically motivated, and as I mentioned, in Paris for that small medical procedure. Dhaka is now said to be largely calm, but there have been reports of looting and killing across the country. Police there have also gone on strike. They're complaining of a wave of reprisal attacks against them. Let's take you to Akbar Hussain from our Bengali service, joining us from Dhaka. Where to start? There's so much, but let's start with Mr Yunus and whether there is broad happiness about the fact that he is coming back and taking over.
He's coming back to Dhaka either tonight or tomorrow, and when he will be back, then Mr Yunus will choose his colleagues, around 10 or 15 members of the cabinet. And Mr Yunus came because the students' leaders, they demanded and they proposed the name of Professor Muhammad Yunus as the head of the next interim government, because they think that Mr Yunus is the person who could turn around the country, because Bangladesh is now, stability is very much needed here. There is no government for the last 2 days. So in many parts of the country, some sort of disorder and violence is still going on. We have seen that many police stations were set on fire, around 500, and police officers, they went under hiding, and all local police stations are empty. So some sort of disorder is still going on, and houses, properties and businesses belong to the people who were Sheikh Hasina's party, Awami League. Their houses and businesses were burnt. So it would be a difficult task for the next interim government to look after these things.
Akbar, you mentioned the police have gone on strike. They're very worried about reprisal attacks. What does that mean for the streets of Dhaka right now? Because I had seen some reports that it's students themselves who are actually on the streets doing things like directing traffic.
Yeah, that's a very interesting thing to see. I have seen in many places, because students say that because as there is no police force in the country, police are not performing their duties. Police are basically, they are scared of public backlash, because during the violence, many police personnel, they were killed. So now students, they think that it is their responsibility, to take care of the traffic management, because I have seen in many parts of Dhaka city that students, they are actually controlling everything. So what the army chief and other political leaders, and even the Bangladesh's president Muhammad Shahabuddin, they think that once the interim government is formed, then the public order will be back. And as I mentioned earlier, that there is a political vacuum here in the country. So as long as the interim government is not forming, so some sort of uncertainty is still going on. So the student leaders, they think that it is their responsibility to protect things, because there are miscreants who can take the advantage of this political vacuum. That's why they think that they have some sort of they have to play some roles in maintaining law and order.
Akbar, just one quick final question. Any idea who else might be part of this interim government?
This is not clear yet, because it will depend on Professor Muhammad Yunus, but this is going to be certain that this government would be a non-party interim government, because the Professor Yunus, he may choose people from retired justice, retired army officers, maybe journalists and lawyers, human rights activists, that it would be a composition of different professional groups that we can understand. And this is not clear how long this interim government will continue. It might be even 6 months, it might be 1 year, 2 years, that's not certain yet. But in the meantime, one of the main political parties in Bangladesh, Bangladesh Nationalist Party, they said that once Professor Yunus takes over, he should arrange an election within 90 days.
I've heard that
but
call
we
too.
do not
Akbar,
know
we have
still
to leave
yet.
it there.
That is very, very uncertain.
Thank you so much. Good to get the latest from Dhaka. See you in